A quick segue there, Gordon. So when it came to actually playing with Graham, now the band was going forward with two drummers, something they had never done before. How was it with you and him? Did you have private sessions together? How did you determine who would do what and move this train forward?
Effectively, we sort of made it up as we went along. As each song came along, we sort of worked out what was going to be the best voicings on the kit, who was going to be taking the lead on occasions. As you know, I stand up and play cymbals and things and percussion. There are certain things where Graham plays which just can't be replicated, like Nights in White Satin, for instance. I mean, he's on the record and there's nothing else to do apart from just try and enhance what he does. So we sort of took it, you know, piecemeal. So we did have a few personal, private sessions together in the bar, and we sorted much more out in the bar than we did at rehearsals, I think. But, that just sort of worked out. I heard the guys, storytellers, yesterday, and they were saying it's one of those things you can't really analyse it at the time. It's not until after you've done it you can look back and work out how it happened. But that pretty much happened as we went along, song by song.
Well, at the Storytellers show, of course, you saw that the band brought on their crew, but they are backed by some ace musicians, as you know, and so the sound night after night.
I just would like to mention, actually, the other musicians. Obviously, we have Norden Mullen, who's amazing. Alan Hewitt, our keyboard player. And Julie Reagan's absolutely fantastic. It's a pleasure to be surrounded by such talent. Makes me look good.
Good stuff indeed. What it takes to perform a 2-3 hour show night after night after night.
Red Bull.
Red Bull. And you've seen this guy, and he is in incredible shape. And so I asked him last night, I said, you know, what do you got to do? So why don't you tell them? I mean, because, you know, it's not a half-ass effort with you. You go full out, and as I said, you're playing 4 or 5 nights in a row. I'm sure that has to take its toll on your body.
Yeah, occasionally I do wake up with a backache or a neck ache or whatever it might be. To be honest, a lot of people ask me that question, but it's one of those things that, you know, when you do something all the time, if you go running every day, your body sort of gets used to it. Or if you go to the gym every other day, you sort of get used to it. And it's pretty much the same with playing the drums. What I would say is that there's a lot of practice goes into it. So when I was 31, when I got this gig, I'd spent the best part of a decade practicing sometimes 6 and 8 hours a day. And when you sit behind a kit for that amount of time and then, you know, you do it day after day, you sort of get used to it. You watch footballers on a football pitch or a soccer player, and if I was to play soccer for 15 minutes, I think I'd be having a heart attack. It's a different type of thing, but it's just what I do. And you just get, I mean, Graham does the same thing every night. And he's slightly older. So, but he amazes me when I see him at his age smacking away on the drum, because you can't see it from where you are, but I sit here, I actually sit where you're sitting, and I look over at Graham and I see these limbs going. It's like running a marathon every night, and he's a phenomenon, that man.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and when you watch the early footage of him, I mean, he was almost Keith Moonlight.
Oh, he's outrageous, yeah.
Hey, that little thing you do where you toss the sticks. All right, let's practice. Come on, we'll toss some microphones. No, seriously. You guys are pretty good at that. Did you have to practice that one in the bar?
The tossing of the sticks?
Yeah.
Well, that actually stopped after one of the sticks hit a violin and cost about £3,000 worth of damage to her. On another occasion, now we didn't practice that at all. We just we grabbed a stick and it was, you know. And depending on how, you know, how we were feeling about each other in any particular evening, would depend on the velocity of the stick. But on one occasion, we did Graham threw a stick to me, and he sort of went behind, and right behind me, there's one of these flight cases, and in the top, there's all these big fuse boxes. It looks like a NASA spacecraft. But what I didn't realise, that about 3 feet behind me, there's the main fuse switch, and the stick came down and landed on the fuse, knocked it off, and all the power on the left-hand side went out. Just silence. So that's when we stopped it.
Okay, accidents happen.
Yeah, they do. But
And one last thing here. Most challenging song for you to play night after night?
I don't think there is a I think really the challenge is to is the consistency over a tour. That's the biggest challenge. All the songs are just so, I mean, they're all works of art in themselves. And to me, the set, as we play the set now, that's become almost like one entire piece of music for me. So when I approach the kit in an evening, I'll sit behind it, and I'm not approaching individual songs. I'm approaching an entire performance. So the challenge is to you talk about the energy level. Really, is to not sort of shoot deposit everything you've got energy-wise in the first 3 songs. You've got to leave. I'm looking down the set list, and depending on how I'm feeling, I can sense how much energy I'm going to have left for singing a rock and roll band at the end. And then halfway through singing a rock and roll band, when the bass drum pedal thing comes in and it's flying, I then think to myself, hang on, I've got question coming later. So I sort of ease off a little bit. That's the big challenge for me, is pacing myself through the whole show as opposed to any particular song.
And is there?
I do like nights though.
Is that your favorite one to play? Is it?
I would, yeah, Nights in White Satin is just everything. It never, people, yeah, it's fantastic. I used to play in, because being a session musician, being a hired musician, I do other work as well. I play in some West End musicals, a bit like the Broadway musicals. And if you're in an orchestra pit and you're playing 8 shows a week and no one can see you, that can get monotonous. But when you're up on stage playing this music, I've been doing this for 20-something years, hand on heart, it never becomes monotonous. Every performance is unique in itself.